أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي آمين يا رب العالمين. عن معاذ بن جبل رضي الله عنه قال أوصاني رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بعشر كلمات قال لا تشرك بالله شيئا وإن قتلت أو حرقت ولا تعقن والديك وإن أمرك أن تخرج من أهلك ومالك ولا تتركن الصلاة مكتوبة متعمدا فإن من ترك الصلاة مكتوبة فقد برئت منه ذمة الله ولا تشربن خمرا فإنه رأس كل فاحشة وإياك والمعصية فإن بالمعصية حل سخط الله وإياك والفرار من الزحف وإن أهلك الناس وإن أصاب الناس موت فاثبت وأنفق على أهلك من طولك ولا ترفع عنهم عصاك أدبا واخفهم في الله صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. In this beautiful hadith of Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, if you do remember, the previous hadith was about 7 things from the Ubadah bin Samit radiallahu anhu. He said the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam told me or left to me 7 things to do. And some of them I mentioned this hadith as well, there's some extra. So in this hadith of Muaz ibn Jabal, he's mentioning there is a 10 things. So the Prophet ﷺ enjoined upon me 10 things. The first one, لا تشركوا بالله شيئا. Do not ascribe anything as partner unto Allah. Do not make anything equal to Him. This is very important because anything beside Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is called طاغوت. فَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِالطَّاغُوتِ وَيُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ. We just recited the ayat from the Surah Al-Baqarah. Whoever rejects and disbelieves in Taghut and believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anything beside Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that distracts us, take us away from the remembering Him subhanahu wa ta'ala is called Taghut. It's very dangerous. That is why the Prophet ﷺ told us that he is fear for us, he's afraid for us of hidden shirk, hidden what do you call shirk, the major sin. Because many or a lot of or majority of the people, they go into it not knowingly, just in that situation. So the way out is to learn about these things. So that is aqidah. Do not ascribe anything as partner unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if you may be slain. In other hadith was even if you are killed or burned alive. So that is by force. By force. Like the story of Bilal radiallahu anhu. Everybody knows it. It was forcefully to reject belief in Allah and the Prophet ﷺ, but he didn't. And on the end he succeeded. And some of them they couldn't do it. We know the story of the Yasir and the family of the Yasir in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and then later on. But if somebody is forced and cannot hold it, so then it is allowed, because nobody can know what is in heart. But by the words you can say, if there is a force. If there is no force, then we should not do it by any way, because we can lose our faith. Do not disobey your parents. So this is new one, because uququl walidain, that is one of the major sins. Uququl walidain, disrespect for the parents, like in these days, from the children. So we have to be careful about that as well. And then he said, disobeying your parents, even you may have to part with your wife or your entire wealth. So the respect of the parents. She may not go to your parents, but you have to. She may not be in good connection with your parents, but you have to, because that's your mom and dad. She may show respect. That's usually what happens, right, from their side. But they are not obliged, like you have to. No, there is no force. Everything is going on mutual respect and love, nothing by force. It's very important. Do not neglect the fard salah intentionally. So here we go. That is the second one. So do not leave prayers. I know how, I know that there's a prayer, but I don't pray. That doesn't make sense. The Prophet said, do not do it intentionally, you're not praying. It's very problematic. For Allah is free from obligations to a person who neglects faith or fard salah intentionally. Don't take wine or drinks, intoxicants, alcohol, for it is an evil habit. So as you mentioned before, it is ras. It is like basically for every evil that happens, it goes through drinking alcohol. That is the root of every vice. Don't commit disobedience to Allah, ma'asiyah. So there is a continuously. See, somebody, if people are doing disobedience, people are joining with them, and they're enjoying in doing that. So don't do that. For that brings the wrath of Allah. So enjoying in those things, as we mentioned the story in the surah that when the people of the hellfire was asking why you're in the hellfire, what they say, "Lam nakum min we did not, we are not being with those who are praying, but we are used to be with those who are, entertainment in the ma'asi, disobedience of Allah subhanahu here and there. وكنا نخوض مع الخائضين وكنا نكذب بيوم الدين حتى آتانا اليقين. We used to neglect the day of judgment. No, come on, man. Who came from over there? We don't know about that. They reject. They don't believe in that until until the death came to us. Certainly came to us. Now we know. Oh my God! But it's too late. It's too late. So don't commit disobedience of Allah because it brings the wrath of Allah. Don't turn your backs to the enemy in battlefield. Yawm Zahf, that is one of the major sins as well. Running from the battlefield. Even though all commanders may have fallen, or the army, if you are alive, you stay there. Do not run away. Don't fly from the locality where the epidemics has broken. Like we have a recent story about the corona. If it's afflicted over here, so we are not supposed to go outside. Even our religion advises us, don't go travel here and there because you will spread, you'll make everybody sick. Just stay as you are. But that's the story of Umar ibn Khattab. He was heading towards the Sham, and then they heard there is epidemic, saying, let's go back. And then one of the gentlemen used to be, like, oh, Umar, you are scared of the, epidemic? They said, "Tafirru min qadr," like if Allah, decrease, you will die or so. They said, no, "Nafirru min qadrillah ila qadrillah." No, we are running from decree of Allah to the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the Prophet advised, do not go enter, don't go and do not enter and do not go out from that city or from that place or so on. So that's good advice of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And then he said, do spend on your family members according to your capacity. Because being the shahih or the stingy person for your family, it's not advisable. As the one of the story when one of the companions used to be stingy spending, but the Prophet advised his wife to take as needed of his wealth and spend on the family. So to spend on your family members according to your capacity. Let your road be hanging the, what do you call it, the stick on them as a warning, and to chase against neglect of their duties towards Allah. So this is advice, not like in these days. I'm sure that all of you face, like from your parents, a little bit, to beat you, right? If you're not really, if you disobey that's normal. It happens through the human history, But today you cannot, touch the kid. because they have much more right than the parent. That is upside down situation where the Prophet ﷺ advised us that will happen. But anyhow, we should work talking and advising and trying our best. But of course, the Islam does not encourage us uh, to leash them or to beat them or to use the stick. But you like put hang it so they can see it. That's how religion is teaching us. Just hang it over there. Why is that? You're like we used to go to the when you try to go in front of the Sheikh Abdullah, Allah yajzihi kull khair. When we memorize the Quran and he's teaching, he has a big asa. He says a big stick. He says al asa liman asa. You know, he says the stick is for those who are not listening, so he can reach us over there. You know, and nobody. I mean, he was hitting us. We are like, you know, big people, but he's hitting. You know, but out of respect, nobody says anything to him. We love him. Even when you hit your son, you know that you did mistake. He wants you to learn correctly. He wants you, you know, to do it perfectly. So that is to say, the ala asa liman asa. Whoever disobeys, he got, you know, stick. But of course, Islam does not encourage us to do so, because the Prophet ﷺ mentioned us, you know, to enjoy salah on our children when they are 7 years old, and then to use this little bit, you know, the stick while they are 10 if they are missing the prayers. But usually that doesn't happen so often. Or the Prophet ﷺ telling us that no father can bestow anything better on his children than to teach them good manners, not through the stick, no, good manners. So because prayer is when you're praying and how many thousands prayers why he or she is not obliged to pray until they reach the puberty. So because they are in that habit, so it will be easy for them to continue to pray. But if they are not praying until they reach the puberty or 20, 25, so then it's hard, you know, to tell them to pray. So, oh, it's too late now. So we have to. The Prophet ﷺ is teaching us step by step how to do these things. So that is very, very important. One of the sayings of Luqman al-Hakim, the wise Luqman, used to say, the use of the stick on a child is a, you know, something as that water for the fields. You know, the plants need the water, so you put the water. That's how stick works with the kids. You know, even if you hold it, you know, you don't have to hit anybody, just to hold it. It has, you know, mentally has some kind of the help. So these are the advice of the Prophet ﷺ. But of course, he never said that we have to, you know, what some parents are doing to their kids, you know, beat them and then, you know, these troubles. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to understand all this and follow. Allahumma amin. Dakle, kratko hadisu kojeg smo spomenuli od Muaz ibn Džebela, gdje poslanik alejhi salatu vesselam kaže, moj mi je prijatelj savjetuje 10 stvari. Spomenuli smo u prošlom hadisu 7, dakle, od pripisivanja Allahu dželešanu druga, pa makar čovjek bio i ubijen ili spaljen, dakle, prisilno. Ovdje je spomenuo drugu stvar, nepokornost ili neposlušnost roditeljima. Onda je spomenuo da čovjek ne ostavlja namaz namjerno, jer zaista, dakle, ko ostavlja namjerno namaz, taj izlazi iz milleta, iz islama. Nemojte, kaže, piti alkohol, jer zato što je nas, dakle, alkohol je majka svih zala, kako poslanik kaže u drugom hadisu. Nemojte učestvovati u grijesima, griješenjem prema Allahu dželešanuhu, jer zaista to izaziva Božju srdžbu. Prošli puta smo kadali, kad su stanovnici džehennema upitani šta vas je dovelo do džehennema, kažu nismo bili sa onima koji su klanjali. I bili smo sa onima koji su se izigravali i smijavali. I poricali smo sudnji dan, sve dok nam nije došla, dakle, prava istina. Dakle, izigravanje s Božjim propisima. Zatim kaže, nemojte bježati sa bojnog polja, pa makar svi ljudi izginuli i komadanti. Dakle, bježanje s bojnog polja, to je jedan veliki grijeha. Neposlušnost roditelja je veliki grijeh. Zatim kaže, وَأَنْفِقَ عَلَى أَهْلِكَ, dakle, troši imetak na svoju porodicu onoliko koliko si u mogućnosti. I kaže da se čuva edeb djece sa štapom, odnosno sa prutom ili kajšem, وَحْفِهِمْ فِي اللَّهِ. Dakle, i posavjetuje da imaju strahopoštovanja prema Allahu dželešanu. Normalno, ovih 10 stvari, spomenuo sam 7 prošlom hadisu, dakle, vidimo kako poslanik alejhi salatu savjetuje sve. Dakle, jedan od velikih stvari je, dakle, pripisivanje Allahu dželešanu druga u kog ljudi, većina, kako poslanik kaže, strah me je da, dakle, od skrivenog širka, ljudi, većina ne zna i onda padne u tu stvar. Normalno, ovdje kad spominjemo djecu, poslanik alejhi salatu kaže učite i, dakle, da klanjaju do 7. godine i u 7. godine razdvajate ju postelji, a od 10. godine kažu potrebite i kaiš. Normalno, islam ne aludira ovdje da se bije, nego da se okači na čiviju, neka se vidi. Ali mi svi dobro znamo i svi su prošli tu praksu da je bio kaiš dobar. I danas dan je dobar, međutim situacija takva da ne može ga koristiti, zato je bolje koristiti u ovoj situaciji riječi, savjete, strahopoštovanje prema Allahu dželešanuhu. Najbolji čovjek što može roditelj ostati svome djetetu je, dakle, lijep ahlak, lijepo ponašanje, lijep edeb. Zato kroz te stvari se, dakle, treba čovjek truditi i pokušavati na taj način da djecu odgaje, da dakle budu iskreni muslimani, da budu i ustrajni u svojoj vjeri i vjerovanju i da budu od onih koji će praktikovati svoju vjeru. Da ne budu, mi znamo to, mi smo to naučili od mame i babe ili u mektebu ili ovdje ili onda, ali ne prakticiramo. Dakle, da usadimo da je to obaveza, kao što nam je obaveza da jedemo, da spavamo i da radimo, obaveza je da se Allahu dželešanu da zovemo na njegov poziv. Pa molim Allaha dželešanu da budemo u te skupine. Amin, ja rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.